What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 14 of Crave the Book. In today's episode, we're actually going to break our weekly pattern of covering chapters from Crave, and we're going to talk about Tracy Wolf's recent guide to Katmere Academy, which just launched. So hopefully you guys have picked it up. If not, feel free to skip this episode until next week, or feel free to listen. I don't think that we're going to be sharing anything that's too spoilery if you don't end up being able to pick it up before this episode airs. But we will be diving into just some of the funny things that we picked up, some of the silly little spoilers and things that Tracy has kind of sprinkled throughout, and our opinions on some of the character profiles that Tracy has laid out for us. So, guys, let's get started. All right, guys, welcome to episode 14. Amber is actually... Oh, and of course the cat's going to be loud. That's okay. We'll keep it in. You guys like cats, right? Amber is sitting here with me today in the fleshy flesh.
Woo!
Woo! She traveled all the way from the United Kingdom to be here just for this episode.
Yeah. In about an hour, I'm leaving.
Yeah. We actually rushed out this morning. It is Black Friday, the day that we're recording, though I believe that the episode won't air until December 1st. But we went out this morning. We looked at the Tracy Wolf's Facebook group and saw that she was releasing signed copies of Crave. And we went out this morning and were able to grab 2 copies at Barnes & Noble. So she has a copy to take home because she doesn't have Barnes & Noble in the UK. So that's really exciting.
And not only do we not have Barnes & Nobles, we also don't have the distressed edged pages of the books as well. So that was really nice to see.
Yeah, and that's a standard for a lot of books here. I've got quite a few of the edged, weird cut pages. So
makes it look more recycled.
Yeah, it's fun. Crave, to me, when you hold the book in your hands, it's a lot lighter than most books, and I always found that really interesting. But anyway, guys, today we are going to be covering the Guide to Katmere Academy that released this week. And Amber and I sat the day that it released.
On the floor, on the carpet.
Yeah, we just laid on the floor on like proper study session with our notebooks out, reading this guide, and we digested the entire thing in a day. I think that the only thing that I didn't read was all the different classes and the teachers.
And the notes about the author.
Yeah, we didn't make it through the notes about the about Tracy, just because we wanted to make sure that we read the content so that we could bring you this episode right away. So it's going to be a lot of fun today, but it is out of our norm. Next week's episode should resume back to our chapters, and I think we're in chapter 4. I think it's 46 or something like that.
It's after the big bite.
The big bite, yes. Jackson is just bitten Grace, and then
chow down on her.
And now we're making them wait.
Yeah, we are being very mean and removing that anticipation for you.
Yeah, you guys have to.
Sorry,
it's the delayed gratification.
Yeah.
So, if you guys were able to get copies of Guide to Katmere Academy, I know a couple people said, "Oh, I can't get it because I don't have a Kindle." You don't have to have a Kindle. You can read it online. You just have to buy it, and it was
download the PDF.
Yeah, it was pretty affordable. I read it. I could read it on my phone, and I was looking through it. But there were a lot of really quirky things about each of the characters. I don't feel like if for any reason you just don't want to read it, there was nothing in there that was so essential to the plot that you have to have it in order to get through the story.
No, there were little golden nuggets of foreshadowing or things that you just it helps you fill in a better picture. It makes a more well-rounded universe.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, then there were things that we'll probably never play in, if you were a kitchen utensil, which kitchen utensil would you be? Remy was like, I would be a spatula because I'm practical.
Yeah. Speaking of which, we haven't done a poll this week.
We'll skip it. This is a crazy episode.
But I think that we should probably answer those questions now. If you were a kitchen utensil, what would you be?
If I were, I've never thought about it that way. I would be an egg beater because I like to beat them up.
See, I was going to say I'd be a whisk.
Which you like to beat them up?
Because I would say that I am very much someone who likes to stir the pot, but everything kind of goes through me. I'm a very much Like, nothing really phases me, but at the same time, I like to stir up the pot to make something that was bad good.
Okay.
Because like, sometimes people say, oh, you just want to stir the pot. And I'm like, yeah, but stirring the pot makes everything more blended.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I don't think anybody else said a whisk in the guide.
Nope. I was reading every single one. I was like, if anybody says a whisk, I'm going to cry.
No, I don't.
Then we had tin opener.
Yeah,
That
can opener, a wooden spoon.
Mm-hmm. There was no rolling pins.
There was no rolling pins?
No rolling pins.
What was Hudson?
Don't remember.
I don't either.
We should have them right in front of us.
Yeah, I don't know where my tablet is. Oh,
Okay.
it's over there.
I'll get my Kindle.
Okay, go get your Kindle, and maybe we should have that out so we can do referencing. So the book starts with a kind of like letter from Finn, and it's almost like for parents to read. If your teenager was going to be enrolling in Katmere Academy, here's how we're gonna sell the school. Like, here's how we're going to try to convince you to let your child go to Katmere Academy. And it was like Finn's letter to the paranormal parents of the students. And he was talking about all the different school functions. He said that there are, the like get-togethers and tea. Now, and you had said, what do Americans consider high tea? But
Yes.
what is high? What do you consider high tea?
So there are three different types. There is cream tea, which is a scone with clotted cream and usually like a jam. And you can have like strawberries in the middle as well.
Okay.
And then clotted cream is like really, really thick whipped cream.
Okay.
To the point where you could like spoon it and it wouldn't lose any of its form.
Okay.
It's very butter. It's
and
like
it goes
butter.
and it goes in a tea?
No, in a scone.
It goes in a scone.
So you cut the scone in half, and then you put a layer of the clotted cream and a layer of the jam, and then you put the other half of the scone on top, and it makes like a sandwich. But there's a massive debate as to whether you put the clotted cream or the jam on first. So that's a cream tea, and then they're usually served in like Dorset and Devon and Cornwall, which is like the southern counties in England. But then you have a afternoon tea, which is
none of this is tea.
No, with you get tea with everything. You can drink a pot of tea with a cream tea and a pot of tea with afternoon tea.
So this isn't a question of what I thought that this was like a. What would we consider like? I thought that high tea was like a peak of the day, going and having like your tea.
No.
It's
an elevation of what just a simple cream tea was.
Okay.
So you would have a cream tea, and that's like you would go out with your mum and you would have a cream tea. Then you got afternoon tea, which is a bit more fancy, and they're usually served on like a multi-tiered shelf tray thing.
Okay.
And you would have, again, the scones with the clotted cream and the jam sandwiches, but they're pre-made. You don't have to make them yourself.
This is the most British thing I've ever heard.
Little teeny tiny crustless sandwiches, and they usually have like really decadent flavors inside. They're never just a cheese sandwich. They're usually like tuna and cucumber and
Is this what they're
stodgy.
Is this what they're having at the vampire court? They're eating.
Well, that's what I was like. This is weird. Like, is this what they're eating?
No, because they need blood sandwiches with their
Blood
tea.
sandwiches.
Blood tea.
Blood tea.
Blood tea. Hutter's blood tea.
And then on top, you get like the little tiny, petit four, which are like the little tiny cakes, like miniature versions of cakes.
Okay, I've seen pictures, and I've seen like movies where it's all like super duper British,
Yes.
like monocle people.
Yes.
Oh, let me have my little tea cake. Like, it's not.
Yes.
Okay.
But you can go to a really fancy bar and have an afternoon tea. They'll make it all fancy for you, but you can choose a coffee, you can choose a Prosecco if you wanted to, you could have whatever you wanted with it. Whereas high tea, I feel there's more of like a course thing where you have to have each course brought out
like
to
a tea,
you.
like what we would consider like a tea party. Like you have your tea
Yes.
party with all. Okay.
Yes.
We don't have an equivalent of that here, though.
No?
There is no equivalent of having like a tea party here, unless it was like brunch. Going out to brunch with the girls. Gonna get mimosas. Yeah.
Bagels and cream cheese.
I'm gonna get a bagel and cream cheese with smoked salmon and
yeah, that's the
capers.
kind of thing that you have with like high tea. Is that
Okay.
they bring it out in courses, and I just couldn't imagine.
No. There's no equivalent.
No.
And I can imagine, okay, so thinking about the factions, when Macy describes her faction and they're all kind of dressed up in their fancy little colorful outfits, they would be sitting around having like a tea party.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because I have a lot of friends who do like the full like Lolita attire, which I know that Lolita in other countries is... Lolita here can be just a cosplay thing. We'll just leave it at that. And lots of girls will get together and do like their Lolita parties where they dress up and they're in their cute little like full Lolita like proper tea party dresses with their little. Some of them even do like the Alice in Wonderland with the little ears, and they'll have their little tea parties, and it's just an excuse to finally wear those dresses that they bought and not. Yeah. So we do have things like that, but that's no different than like going to a con or something. It's not...
Okay. No, these are the things that, like, if you really wanted to treat your mother and, like, pamper her, you would take her to afternoon tea, and she would immediately feel like, oh, they want to spend time with me, they want to have a conversation with me. It's not going out for a meal, it's going out for an experience together where you get to try foods that you might not necessarily have tried before because it comes out on a platter.
We have coffee shops and things. You sit down, but it's like, what do you get at a coffee shop? You get, I mean, you've seen what's at our coffee shops now. You get like
pastries,
a pastry, and then you eat it, and then
well,
what?
When you come to Britain, we'll take you for all three.
Okay,
we'll
do all the courses.
Tea, afternoon tea, high tea.
Okay,
and then just morning tea.
All right. She made me tea.
I did.
She made me tea a couple days ago, and it was an experience. It was tea and it was cookies. She said biscuits. Those aren't our biscuits. Our biscuits are big, fluffy lumps of bread.
Yeah. That you dunk and they just turn to mush.
Yeah.
So the next point that I wrote down on my notebook was that we don't have yearbooks.
You don't have yearbooks at all?
No. We will have a yearbook in the ascent, like where we would have pictures of everybody, but it wouldn't be like most likely to succeed or any of those. We wouldn't. I mean, if we did it, it would be a gimmick that we tried to borrow and try and Americanize it and have some fun with it.
Okay, yeah.
So I never had a yearbook. I never had a prom, like none of this. So reading the like, what would you be in a yearbook? Really, just I can't relate at all.
And you know what's funny is I did the Wingo Wednesday the week before Guide to Katmere came out, and the question was like, who would you vote most likely to go to prison, most likely to, and we had no idea that they were going to even put those in the Guide to Katmere Academy. I'll dig out my yearbook for you. I think I've only got one from when I was in like 4th grade. But it's back there. I'll dig it out for you.
They definitely wouldn't, because we would have our photos taken. I've noticed this since I've gone around all of your houses and all of your family's houses. Yeah. You take so many photos. Every family has a photo shoot. Everybody has a year photo. Yeah. No. We would have our photos taken, but our parents had to buy the photo each year if they wanted to keep them.
You have to do that too. They're expensive
but they
look
all the same because they're all in uniform.
Mm-hmm.
And they're really, really boring. So some parents would want to buy them so that they could see the progression of their child growing up because they're wearing the same outfit essentially.
Yeah.
But it's weird to see so many.
We can change poses and backgrounds and things for our pictures.
Our backgrounds were exactly the same.
Aww.
And we would do a class photo, a school photo, a year photo, and an individual photo, but we wouldn't do any of the clubs or anything like that. So if you had like the football team, that wouldn't have a photo, or if it did, I just wasn't part of it or just completely oblivious to it happening because I don't have any of that from my school years. So yeah, it was just interesting.
Well, I'll dig out mine and you can take a look. I want the Katmere yearbook. That should be the next guide that we got.
Yeah, Tracy,
hey. It's us again. Hi. We were wondering if we could get a Katmere yearbook, please.
Did you get voted most likely to do anything?
No.
No?
No, and that's mostly high school. And by high school, I was already in a tech school. I was in some of my yearbooks for, like, extracurriculars, but I wasn't voted for anything. And most of those are funny, and it's like the really jockey, super popular kids that get them, like most likely to go to prison. And then it's like the kid that always got in trouble, but everybody still liked.
Yeah.
If it was the one that always got in trouble, but everybody hated and he was always in trouble,
genuinely probably would go to prison.
Right. Then nobody's going to vote for him. It's going to be the charismatic guy,
Okay.
but that the teacher's still buddy with, and he's not like failing classes. It's that type of thing. Which I actually haven't seen very many of those either.
Did you go to any clubs, like extracurricular activities? What did you go to?
Yeah, I was in PACT, and we did, it was by a program called Project Jericho. And we did things that helped our actual school. So we painted a big mural that went in the cafeteria. We did a rock garden out front with stepping stones, and we made all the stepping stones. It was all artistic stuff, basically. And I was also in Power the Pen, and I got kicked out for not being a good writer.
Oh, wow.
And now I have a book that's coming out in January. Take that, Power of the Pen. Yeah, I got kicked out because they told me, what was my prompt?
Can you even be kicked out of a school club?
Power of the Pen was Power of the Pen. You had to compete.
Oh, okay.
So I was
eliminated.
I was eliminated. Yeah, my prompt was like, I think it was you have to gently tell your parents, break the news to your parents that a certain red fat man doesn't exist.
Okay.
I don't want to say that because in case someone's kids are listening.
Okay.
And you have to write.
So a role reversal.
Yeah, like you as the child have to write.
Okay.
And you're writing the story of explaining to your parents and breaking the news. And I'm not good at writing a prompt. Like I was like, I don't know. I could probably do it now, but I was not interested. I want to write what I want to write. And yeah. But another thing that we noticed in Guide to Katmere Academy, I mean, I thought that Grace's like cherry flavored obsession was bad, but like
this accentuated it.
Yeah, so we know from Crave that it's cherry Pop-Tarts and
Cherry
Garcia, and Dr. Pepper already kind of has like a cherry-ish taste to it. I think it's supposed to be almost like I mean, there is cherry Dr. Pepper, I guess. Granola bars. Did she say anything cherry about the granola bars?
I don't remember. I remember just being the Pop-Tarts and the Cherry Garcia being the outliers. But her profile in the Katmere guide was cherry.
She said that she had a lip gloss collection when she was like 14, which I did too. I found that I had
Did you?
Me and my friend Erica had a pool of lip gloss, and we would trade them in school, which is kind of gross because we were using them. But we would trade our lip glosses, pre-COVID days, guys. And yeah, I had a huge lip gloss collection because we weren't allowed to wear makeup when we were that young. But our parents didn't care if we did flavored lip glosses. Mm-hmm. And we never left them on. We just put them on, and then we licked them all off. But yeah.
And you don't even wear them now?
No.
You're not a lip gloss person now?
No, my lips are all dry and chapped. Can you see? So cherry things. And here in a little bit, here, I almost said Erica because I was talking about Erica.
The sacrilege.
Oh, no.
Amber. Been replaced.
Amber. Technically, she's been replaced because she was my best friend then.
Poor Erica.
I'm still friends with her.
She?
I talked to her during our kids' birthday parties. She'll never hear this podcast. We'll just put it that way. So, Amber hasn't tried actual cherry Pop-Tarts yet. They've been eating a lot of Pop-Tarts since they've been here.
Oh, no, I've only had one.
Oh, it's just your husband.
It's just my husband who's been eating all of the Pop-Tarts.
But they don't have cherry Pop-Tarts in the UK, so we're going to have her try some cherry Pop-Tarts at the end.
Yeah, I don't want to chew into the microphone and then still be talking.
And then have, like, just Pop-Tart in your teeth. Yeah. So during Hudson's profile, which, I could have just... Who cares about the rest of the guide?
We were just kept on like pressing the button. So like next page.
Hudson.
Give me Hudson.
Yeah. He mentions that he has a lot of secrets.
Yeah.
Because it says like, what's something you wouldn't want anyone to know about? And he's like, oh, all those secrets that Grace doesn't know about.
Yeah. And lists the secrets, but doesn't list what the secrets are.
He doesn't elaborate at all.
No.
So now
like there's certain things that I would never talk to my parents about. My sex life, my financial life, my marital life.
pull up his profile. It was towards the beginning of the guide, and see if you can find it, because I would like to know what those things were. Now, another thing while she's looking for that I noticed in the guide to Katmere, all of the dragons seem to be tied to Egypt. And I thought that was interesting, because I believe, and I might be wrong, but I believe that when we're talking about the Dragon Court bonus chapters, Nuri is, I feel like they were in Egypt. And I might be wrong, but I feel like they were in Egypt when she met Aiden and he kind of took her away in the Dragon Court bonus chapters. And everybody, like, even Flint mentions something about, like, how cool it would be to go there. And Eden mentions something about Egypt. So I'm wondering if is there some affiliation with dragons and Egypt in the Crave universe that hasn't like fully been outlined yet. Because Dragon Court's in New York City, but they do hoard treasure. And when I think of ancient Egypt, I definitely think about like treasure and like, you know,
not dragons though.
No, not dragons. That's like
I think of cats.
Yeah, cats.
And sphinxes.
Yeah. So I wonder if we'll get anything. That would be really cool if she could elaborate maybe later in court. Did you find it?
Yes. What did you want me to look for?
Hudson's secrets. He said something about the secrets that he doesn't.
One secret you never want anyone to know. I have too many secrets to narrow it down to just one. How I got my powers. Why I can't tell Grace about our time frozen together. What really happened to me when Jackson tried to kill me. Oh, and why I will never, ever, ever watch snakes on a plane again. Grace knows what she did.
What? What did she do?
I don't know. But in his yearbook, he would be the most likely to destroy the school.
Jackson's the one who's shaking the school all the time.
Yeah. He's
like
the earthquake guy.
I mean, Hudson brought down the like Coliseum, the stadium. But I don't think that, I mean, even in...
He's also hidden that power.
Yeah, and when you read... So we do get a bonus novella in the Guide to Katmere at the end from Hudson's perspective. And it's when he first goes back to school at Katmere, after he and Grace after he's separated from Grace's mind. And he talks to Finn, and Finn is very intimidated by him. But
it's a lot of sexual tension.
Yeah, Finn's talking about like, I can sense the power in him.
Well, our eyes locked.
Our eyes locked. And I was like, ooh, Uncle Finn. But he doesn't say anything like about being afraid that like Hudson's gonna tear down the school. I
think he was more afraid that he was gonna hurt Grace.
Yeah.
More so than Jackson.
Yeah, because I get that. And I mean, he does tell Hudson to kind of like steer clear.
Yeah, back off.
Yeah, back off of her. When we were reading, was it Jackson who said that he would want to take Grace to London?
No, it was Hudson. It was Hudson.
He said what, Hammersmith, we wrote...
Dream night on the town. I would love to take Grace to London, out to a fancy restaurant and a show. Afterwards, I would take her for a walk along the Thames in the Hammersmith Bridge area.
So Amber she's from the UK, so she knows these areas. Probably, I don't even think that Tracy's been that way. I think she mentioned, maybe I'm wrong. I don't think that she said that she's been that way. And Grace also talks about Stonehenge, which is pretty funny as well. But what is in that area for everybody who isn't familiar?
So Hammersmith is a bridge. There's a Hammersmith, which is the arena, which you can have like lots of comedians and shows and theatre kind of events going on. Mm-hmm. And there's a bridge outside, which is the Hammersmith Bridge. And it's a little less populated and a little less touristy than the rest of the places in London, because it is a local version of what the O2 Arena is. So we have Wembley and we have the Millennium Dome, which now is like the O2 Arena. And those are the places where you would go, and you would go and see like Miley Cyrus or
Okay.
like Lady Gaga and things like that. The Hammersmith Apollo would be somewhere where you would go and watch a British local comedian that you would only really know if you were into the genre.
Okay. Got it.
And I don't really know much about it because whenever I've gone, I've literally just gone for the show.
Mm-hmm.
But it is a little bit more difficult to get to because the tourists aren't needing to get there.
But Hudson's from there, so that would be like the underground thing that he would know about rather than taking her to the big thing that everybody knows about. He would take her to the little, like, more...
It's like Guy from Free Guy taking her for taking her for the ice cream outside of where the main action happens. It's like whenever anybody goes to London, they go to Soho, they go to what's it called? The big street with all of the shops on. They go to Harrods. They go to Big Ben and the Houses of Parliament. They go to the Museum of Natural History. They go to London Eye. They go to the boardwalk, the big long walk along the Thames. But there are certain parts of London that are just as nice, but they're not for tourists. They're
not Hudson.
No, Hudson's taking her to the lesser known parts to show her a good time at a theatre or maybe a comedian.
And he said a pub crawl as well.
Do you have pub crawls?
Yeah, we do, but the drinking age here is 21, and they are teenagers. But in the UK, the drinking...
We're toddlers, so we can actually crawl.
Yeah, you can actually... No, what's the drinking age there?
It is 18 for most places.
Okay.
I think. You know when you've been drinking for so long, like it's been legal for so long, I don't even remember. But now I'm maybe it's 16. I don't know.
But they're young, so we're assuming now that they can drink because he wouldn't be taking her to a pub crawl. So that's some, kind of Easter eggy things that like Tracy put time into thinking about. Like otherwise he would have taken her anywhere.
Yeah.
But a pub crawl, they would actually be old enough to drink in.
And pubs are really close to each other. So you could go down the street and you could go to about 5 or 6.
No, we have areas like that, but...
Well, yours are bars.
No, we have pub crawls.
Pubs?
Yeah.
Actual pubs?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But your pubs are not pubs.
Well, maybe we'll have to pub crawl before you guys leave. Pub crawling. I don't like getting drunk. It's not a good time.
It's what you would do for a bachelor party, like a stag do. You would go for a pub crawl.
We did a divorce pub crawl for our friends. Divorce celebration. So another thing that we learned, and I'm so disappointed that these have not been mentioned in the Crave series, they have pets. Raphael, I think it's Raphael, has an axolotl, which I want to...
That's a cool pet.
That's a cool pet. And Eden has a cat.
She has a version of like Crookshanks, like a really old, scraggly ginger cat.
Was it Eden or was it?
It was definitely one of the girls.
I thought it was Eden. Has a scraggly orange cat named Toad. And we get bonus text conversations where everyone's like, yeah, Toad.
Gwen? Was it Gwen?
I'm not sure.
I think it was Eden.
I think it was Eden. Yeah. I'm pretty sure it was Eden who has the cat named Toad. But why didn't we get... I want Toad.
Toad needs to be featured in more things.
Yeah. We want more Toad in the last book. Please give us some more Toad. I want to hear about how Toad runs the halls of Katmere Academy and everybody's just like, oh my god, there goes Toad.
I never don't want more pets included in stories.
No, of course. and knowing that characters enjoy pets. Mm-hmm. Was it Raphael who was like the little animal whisperer in the guide?
Yeah, he keeps on bringing home like orphan baby birds.
That's what I want. That's what we need more of.
It's the character development that we all need.
And speaking of character development, there were a lot of text conversations in the guide where it was just like the group chat. And it was fun to read, but my favorite moment that we got from just random group chat was Jackson was trying to text the like slanty face emoji, like the colon and then
awkward, like
yeah, the colon and the slash where it just kind of has like the slashy face. But he kept doing it wrong, and it was actually in the guide. Like where you type an emoji and then you mess it up.
Yeah.
And he kept messing it up, and then they called him out.
They're like, nice try.
Nice try, Jackson. That made me laugh. There was a tidbit about there being a dragon guard. I think.
And a vampire guard.
Yeah.
A vampire guard was mentioned as well, but the dragon guard sounds cool.
Eden wanted to join the dragon guard.
I want to join the dragon guard.
Will we get any of that in court? See, this isn't even an episode of theories. It's just us asking questions.
Yep.
I hope that court... I mean, I think she said it's like 1,000 pages.
Oh, wow. Okay, then.
Thick boy.
I'm going to have to leave space on my shelf. My new shelves with my new signed edition of Crave. I'm going to make a whole Crave shelf.
The Crave shelf. We need to get that red geode that... Shout out to, I think it was Phoenix who had the...
Yeah, we're jealous.
Phoenix, we love you. We need a red geode for our shelves. So I will begin my search. I know
You've got an hourglass?
I do have a red hourglass. That goes on my Second Life of Bree Tanner.
I'm hoping for a crab one at some point. Give me my crab one.
Oh, your were crab?
My were crab.
Your were crab?
I've got a crab at home. Just want to use it.
What was the out of all the character photos, because we got pictures of all of them, and the only one that I was unhappy with Mackay, because his dreads just kind of looked like
taped on.
It's
like a bag of sour worms.
Yeah,
just stuck to his head.
It might have just been how my picture was like
pixelated in your picture.
Yeah, the design there wasn't the exactly how I pictured. In terms of how they actually because I assume that they didn't just have a model to use, and a lot of them they look like digital art, but they also look like they used photos, kind of like did it over top of the photos. And I think that they used one guy's face and then probably had to use like the hair of a different model and then merge the photos.
Not very well.
Yeah. Wasn't my favorite.
Grace's hair was perfect. That is exactly what I imagined her hair to look like.
But you said you pictured her to be bigger.
Yeah,
she's supposed to be curvy.
She's supposed to be curvy, and I'm curvy, and looking at her made me feel fat.
She was very supermodel-y in her little picture.
Yeah, so I'm hoping that when they go to cast her in the movies, that they don't chicken out and just get
like a super duper skinny girl.
Yeah.
Not that there's anything wrong with that, but Grace is described as being curvy. Tracy is a bigger girl as well, so we were kind of like rooting for the
Yeah, and there's something really quite toxic about somebody being very self-conscious of wearing a dress that they feel like they're going to spell out of when their body is not one.
Yeah.
That they're going to spell out with.
And that happens to Grace multiple times. It happens before the cocktail party, the welcome party. It happens at Dragon Court.
And she also talks about how she's too heavy for either of the men to carry.
Yeah, and when Flint is carrying her, how like self-conscious she is that he's carrying her.
And I think that she needs to be of the bigger side to prove just how strong they are.
Yeah,
because that was the whole point, is that they're supposed to be super strong.
And then she being and she struggles a lot to learn to fly too. So that could also add to that as well.
There's a lot made of stone.
Right.
She needs to be a brick house.
Brick house Grace. So in terms of all the characters that we got images of, because I know that you had said that that Calder.
That was disappointing.
Yeah, Calder did not look at all like I had hoped.
She just looked very, very human. Yeah. And I was kind of expecting her to be the most supernatural looking of the lot, because, I mean, Flint walks into the prison cell and immediately knows what race she is. Oh,
I don't remember that part.
Yeah, he's like, "Are you a manticore?"
Oh, okay.
So it must have been obvious. And I was kind of hoping for more, like lioness-esque features of her. But no, she looked very human. And now I'm just a bit confused as to what a manticore is and whether I got it very wrong in my head, because I was imagining her to be...
It's like a lion. It's like a lion that has like bat-like wings, and...
But she doesn't have any of that, unless it's like the dragon thing where she has a altar.
I think so. That's how I perceived it.
Oh.
Was that she can transform. But then she wasn't able to.
But she doesn't, because she hasn't got magic in the
prison.
In the prison.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I got it wrong then.
You were wrong.
But then how'd you guess? You can't just look at someone and go, well, clearly you're a manticore.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe the supernaturals have a way about them where they're able to identify things like that.
You smell like a lion.
It's all the gingers. They're like, all the gingers are the manticores. And we got confirmation, guys. We can all close the book. We now know, thanks to Tracy and Guide to Katmere Academy, that the dragons have eggs. We now know. It has been confirmed that dragon children come from eggs.
We were on the floor just reading, and then we both just looked up at each other in like eggs. They have eggs!
They have an egg class. Is that like new parenting class?
I think it is. I think it's like health and safety of children.
Did you get one of the baby dolls to carry?
No, we didn't. We weren't allowed them unless we were doing a specific course.
What about a chicken egg? Did you have to carry a chicken egg? Our school did bags of flour because if you dropped your baby,
poof.
It was a mess.
Oh, wow.
There was baby all over the hallway.
That's traumatic.
And you got to draw a face on it in Sharpie, so you had your flour baby.
An egg would also be just as traumatic.
No, because an egg is small and easy to clean up. If you drop a bag of flour on the floor, everybody knows that you killed your baby. You can't kick your baby under the couch.
Yeah. And also, there's always then you can never buy just a single egg. You buy a carton of 6 or more. So therefore, you've always got a replacement ready. But a bag of flour, you're not just going to find one of them in a hurry. Just like, oh yeah, it's my
no,
it was the original. It was the original. I promise.
No, the teacher signs it.
Oh, she signs it.
Yeah,
Wow.
You can't fake it.
It's the original flour.
Yeah.
Okay. So this one, you actually looked at me in just utter shock.
I died. I could not stop laughing. It was...
So Tracy was talking about her inspiration for a lot of the location names and things like that. She was speaking about how Hogwarts is warthog backwards, and that is how she came up with Katmere, because it is meerkat backwards.
And meerkats aren't even like
No.
They're not an Alaska animal.
No, not at all. But yeah, it made us giggle for a very long time because we were like, we'd never even noticed. I didn't know that Hogwarts was warthog backwards.
Katmere, it just sounds so cool. I remember being like, oh, this is so creative. Katmere. Makes so much sense.
Meerkat.
It's meerkat.
So I put a little note next to it, and this it says Verlon. And if anybody is French speaking, or is learning to speak French, there is a dialect or a slang type, kind of like a Cockney rhyming slang in Britain, which is called Verlon, and it is l'envers backwards. So it's the reverse backwards. And it is a way of speaking about something that somebody could easily decipher without other people understanding what you're talking about.
Pig Latin?
Yes, but French.
I can't do Pig Latin.
No?
No.
Ixnay on the egg spray or whatever.
Well, I can do, the obvious ones that everyone does, but I knew friends like who could just like...
Make it up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the fly.
This is what Verlon is like. And
okay.
So there is, for example, meuf, which is femme, which is woman, backwards.
Okay.
So you can talk about a meuf and nobody knows what you're on about. But the problem is it will just keep evolving as time goes on. And there is a rapper called Stromae, and he does French rap, and he got into British radio very easily with Allons on Danse. And it was a really famous song for a very long time. But his name, Stromae, is Maestro.
Okay.
Backwards. But it just reminded me, I was like, oh, Katmere, meerkat, warthog, Hogwarts. So it's the same pattern. If Tracy would like to come up with a name for her language that she's coming up with, is called Verlon.
She could do a whole Katmere language. Like how Lord of the Rings has its own like full language that goes with it.
Yeah.
So we got a really good, like the best interview from Tracy that we've read. I think that this was the best because we learned about the meerkat Katmere.
It was also written as well. Sometimes having it written down meant that you could go back over it. If it was a spoken one,
yeah,
it's over.
Yeah, we've listened to some of her interviews, but I preferred reading it. And one of the things that she talked about was how, a lot of, well, I think the question was about her changing the love interest halfway, not even halfway, but right after Crave, having Hudson introduced. And she said, with a lot of YA, it's like the first love and the passion, and I'm never going to leave you, and I'll love you forever, and I promise I'll be with you for the rest of my life. And, the thing is, guys, that's really sweet, but it seldom happens.
It's not reality.
No, you seldom stay with your first love. And she kind of wanted to break that pattern and show people what it was like to be able to
go through the breakup first.
Yeah. And to care, you can still care about somebody and not be
in a relationship.
Exactly. And I know I have a lot of people who ask us in private messages, "Oh, do you think that Grace and Hudson are going to stay together, or do you think she's going to go back to Jackson?" After reading that interview, I think that we're safe with Hudson. I don't think that we're going to lose him as the love interest, simply because I think Tracy's trying to make a healthy point to our young audience. Yeah. And it would almost be like retracting on that if Grace were to go back to Jackson. That wouldn't accomplish the same message.
Mm-hmm. It didn't show an unhealthy breakup. Like in Twilight, the unhealthy breakup with Bella is that he literally gaslit her into removing himself from her life entirely. Yeah. So she believed that it had happened. She knew it had happened, but she had to just continue her life and with a complete clean break. And she just sits in her room. And I think that scene makes me cringe, but I also know that it was a very, very good way of recording that scene with the book and the spinning and the seasons moving, and she does nothing. She just lets herself waste away. Grace doesn't do that.
No.
She does cry. She does feel things. She does go through those periods of hurt. She talks to her friends. She talks to Macy. She talks to Hudson. Mm-hmm. And Hudson doesn't immediately jump on her the moment that he finds out that she's broken up with his brother. But she does grieve the relationship in a way, but she also knows that it is very over. It's not like okay, how do I get him back?
Yeah.
And it's also, how do I move on from Jackson onto Hudson? It's not that at all. She's more, I want to be secure in myself and I want to learn things on my own. She's not immediately ready to jump into another relationship, despite Hudson being there ready and waiting and knowing that he was her mate. She still took it at her own pace.
And, I also like that when we do get that perspective from Hudson, it's not that he doesn't want to. Mm-hmm. Like, he is very frustrated. And I think that we all feel that way. Like, oh my God, I wish that she would just stop looking at him. I wish that she would just pay attention to me. I wish. But he doesn't act on it. Mm-hmm. He doesn't force her. He doesn't say those things out loud to her. We all have those thoughts. Like, oh my God, I feel like I'm going to be ripped inside out watching this person with this other person. But I think that the difference between a mature person and someone who is immature is the mature person will be able to say, you know what, it's their choice. And I will accept them doing what they want to do to be happy, versus someone who tries to sabotage the other relationship or make the person feel guilty. Which is why I was so mad at Jackson when during Grace's birthday party, he gave her the sketch back.
Yeah, that's petty.
Like, ruined her birthday, and she couldn't even do anything about it because, everybody's like, oh, that's a nice drawing. You should keep it. Because no one knew the significance other than Grace and Jackson. So it was a very,
childish thing to do.
Yeah, it was a very backhanded thing.
He didn't take her emotions into account. It was a very selfish act to do that to her.
Yeah, because she'll never appreciate it for for it being the sketch. It was a sketch that he said that he got because it reminded him of her. Therefore, it's just an item that she now has to keep because it's valuable, but it doesn't mean anything to her.
Yeah, she doesn't want it.
No.
But yeah, I really like the way that Tracy said that normally YA doesn't prepare the person who is reading to not jive with their first love and what comes after the ending of their relationship. Yeah. It doesn't prepare them for the breakup, and it also doesn't prepare them for realizing and discovering that there is a newer, bigger, better, more all-consuming love out there.
And, we do get books like that, like Court of Thorns and Roses. We all fell in love with Tam before he went kind of asshole on Feyre, but he turned into a bad guy, and it was easy to say, oh, she's picking the better person. Jackson never really turns into a bad guy.
He's a bit emo for a bit.
Right, but he's never, like, doing anything to, like, hurt Grace, or he's not trying to be mean to her. Like, we still... And that's more realistic. Like, if the person just switches and they turn into an evil person, then leave him. Go for the better guy. That still isn't as realistic as what we will experience in most breakups in high school. It's not that the person is evil. It's not that they've turned into a villain. It's just that they don't want to be with you anymore.
They don't work anymore in a romantic capacity.
Right.
I also think that a lot of teenagers go through that phase of, I want to break up with this person. It's not working out, but I want to remain friends.
How do I not ruin it?
Yeah. You don't have to force a friendship. It will either work or it won't. I don't talk to any of my exes. Do you talk to any of your exes?
No, I don't.
And it's not because we didn't try to keep them in our lives. It's also not because they didn't try to keep themselves in our lives. Lives move on, and sometimes there isn't room for that person, but there was definitely a reason why you did go out with them for that period of time. You don't have to work at being friends with somebody who you're supposed to remain friends with, because it should just feel like they're in your lives because they want to see you happy. And that was a case with Tamlin, where she didn't want him anywhere near her. It wasn't a, we should stay friends.
No.
But it was with Jackson, is that she still wanted him in her life. But not only that, he was the brother of the person that she's in love with. I think that I'm kind of glad that she didn't, like, lose... I'm guessing she lost her virginity to Hudson, because she didn't say anything about being with anybody else.
You know what? I'm not sure.
I'm just glad that she didn't do anything sexual with Jackson. Because
that
would have been really awkward.
Unless you want to count the bites, because they did seem kind of orgasmic in description.
Yeah, but it left something for Hudson.
Yeah.
She had an experience to give to him, and then still have those memories of Jackson. Because at that point, you will always, no matter how hard you try to separate sex and friendship.
Yeah.
It's very difficult. And now she's...
At that age especially.
Now she's with Hudson. She's not looking at Jackson going, oh, well, he did this better. Or,
right.
Oh, I remember him doing this. Or I've seen him naked. And she doesn't have any of that because that didn't happen.
There really aren't any point in the book where she, like, looks fondly back at her relationship with Jackson, other than the scene where she's trying to calm him down and she's like, remember we built the snowman together, and that kind of calms him down. But
he took me out to see the Northern Lights, but it wasn't a fondness for her. It was she was trying to remind him of happier times because he was currently in turmoil, not because she wanted to go back.
Right. I didn't care for that scene. I didn't care for how she handled it. I will say that, especially reading it from Hudson's perspective and him standing there and him being like, "Oh, of course, this is what it's boiled down to." She's going back to him, like
she was rubbing it in his face a bit.
Yeah, but she did immediately in the bonus chapter that we got. She did immediately go back down to Hudson's room. And they, like, curled into bed together.
Yeah.
So, and Hudson was like, I don't even want her in my bed, because then it'll be it's like my one sacred place that she hasn't been. And if we end up in my bed, then it will always just be the bed that I shared with her. But then they do end up going to bed together. So, yeah. And who knows what happens, because she didn't go into details, but...
It was very fade to black.
Yeah. I think that it did say something about her taking her clothes off. So it could have, who knows what it could have been, but either way, she's definitely more physical with Hudson. And right after that conflict with Jackson, she got into bed with Hudson. So I think that was like her saying, like, no, it's, I would have said anything to keep him from destroying the school. Like, so we had some quizzes that were in the do you think you can find those? And maybe while you're doing that, I really enjoyed reading Xavier's description for his little bio, but we got a description of his scent.
Yes.
He smells like sandalwood, and that's funny because Amber was just talking about how sandalwood was
My favorite scent.
her favorite scent. Yeah, we went on an adventure looking for sandalwood candles, and we found one. Okay, so there are some quizzes that we made an effort not to even look at until we did this podcast. So we need a pen. Oh, I got one. So let's find out which Crave character we are. And you guys, maybe you can follow along and we'll let you know. And
Okay.
so this is the only thing that we'll be spoiling from the book because we didn't want to do
Yeah.
this podcast and make it so that like no one went and bought the book. But
So, Starla, what is your favorite snack? A, fish food ice cream. B, marshmallows. C, waffles. D, Pop-Tarts. Or E, granola bars.
well, for those who don't have fish food ice cream, it's Ben and Jerry's, and it's got like marshmallows and
chocolate
chunks.
fish.
Yeah, and chunks of chocolate shaped like fish. So A, fish food ice cream. B, marshmallows. C, waffles. D, Pop-Tarts. And E, granola bars. I am going to say A. Out of those things, I will say A.
Same.
Fish food. A?
Yeah.
All right. What's our second one?
What course sounds most appealing to take? A, spellcasting. B, the art of flight. C, politics of paranormal world. D, art class. E, history of the paranormal world.
Which one would you pick? You go first.
I would choose art.
Really? Of
Yeah.
all the well, you could take art anywhere though.
Well, is it art or spellcasting? But then I have no idea if I would be good at it.
I'm gonna say spellcasting.
Yeah, I'm already sensing a theme with the
Yeah.
letters. B is definitely Flint. And I think D is Grace. I
Yeah.
would like to put a pin in that just in case we discover
All
the
right.
answers.
Which one did you want? Did you
Spellcasting.
want spellcasting?
Yeah.
All right. Number 3.
3. What would you do at a party? A, you planned it, so just enjoy your hard work. B, talk to everyone. C, hold court in the middle of everyone. D, find the snacks and hide. That's me. And E, be the life of the party.
All right. So you would be D, find the snacks and hide.
Yeah.
I'm A. I planned
A.
I planned that sucker. I am a party planner. You've never been to a Starla party, but
No.
Starla is a party planner, so I'm going to enjoy my hard work. I usually am not enjoying my hard work, which you'll find tomorrow when we do our Thanksgiving.
Yes.
I will be on my feet, cooking, moving. Oh, do you have everything? Do you have everything you need? Do you need a drink? Do you want to try some snacks? Here, try this. Yeah. All right.
Number 4. What paranormal would you most want to be? A, witch. B, dragon. C, vampire. D, gargoyle. Or E, I'd hate to have powers.
I'd hate to have powers. That's boring.
I'm A.
A, really?
Yeah,
Which?
I want to be a witch.
I'm going to say B just because it would be so fun
To fly.
not just to fly. Well, yeah, to fly, but to
Breathe fire and...
no. I would wait until I'm in front of like someone that I really have never liked, and then I'll just boom turn into roar, bitch,
Roar.
roar.
Oh, that was a cringy movement, that was.
Good thing they couldn't see it.
Yeah. 5. What adjective would your friends use to describe you? A, loyal. B, funny. C, quiet. D, resilient. Or E, witty.
Oh, should we do each other's?
Yes.
Witty for you.
Yeah?
You think of way wittier things.
Yeah.
Your whole job is being
Funny.
funny and witty.
Yeah.
But yeah, funny. The thing is, witty is also funny.
Yeah.
Witty is both of those things. So
Clever funny.
yeah, it's clever funny. So I'm gonna say E for
Yeah?
you. For you,
You're resilient.
am I resilient?
Yeah, you throw anything at you and you just go, nah.
Yeah. Okay. I am adaptive.
Yeah. This next music, this one. Which musician is your favorite?
Oh, I'm not gonna like any of them. All right.
A. Harry Styles. B. Hosier. C. Savage Garden.
Definitely not.
D. One Direction.
No.
E. Lewis Capaldi.
I technically have more Harry Styles on my playlist, but only because of Crave. Lewis Capaldi, I didn't even know who it was until Crave, but I think I like him the most. I think that...
Agreed.
Okay.
He has some really, really good songs, and if anybody hasn't listened to any of his other songs, they're really good.
Yeah, I turned on just like a random one of his albums, and it was nice.
Yeah.
He was like, it reminds me almost of Daughtry. Did you guys have Daughtry?
No.
No, Daughtry, he actually came in second for American Idol when I was
okay.
But he had like a southern rock sound.
I think we're going to have the same answer for this one.
All right.
What would be your favorite snowy day activity? Join in on the snowball fight, have a snowball fight, build a snowman, stay inside and read, or help your friends strategize to win the snowball fight.
Stay inside. Which number? Which
D.
That was D?
Yeah.
I don't like being cold. Remember when Bella's like, I don't like any cold, wet thing? Yeah, that's me. No cold, wet thing.
What would you use to help win in a fight? A. Wand, anything with fire, your strength, your calming abilities, or your wit? Mine is my wit.
A. Wand. B. Anything with fire. C. Your strength. D. Your calming abilities. E. Your wit. A wand, because I could do any of the other things with a wand if I knew the right...
I'm going to be really funny with a wand.
Yeah.
No, like if I am stuck in an argument with someone, I will be the first to crack a joke to try and release the tension.
Okay.
Anything with fire, I'm not a very destructive person at all, so I think that I would not do anything with fire. I would be like, concerned I'd hurt someone. Definitely not my strength. My calming abilities is my wit.
Okay.
Like,
that makes sense. All right, so that was E.
Which would I want to help win a fight? It would obviously be the wand, but use my wit.
Got it.
Which of these paranormal abilities would you want during Ludares? Your ability to create portals and use spells, flight, the ability to fade, ability to withstand heat, or ability to disintegrate things?
Disintegration wouldn't help you in a fight in Ludares.
No.
There's nothing that would help. Unless you were, like, exploding people and students, which probably would end the game. So we'll just... E, I think, is off the table. Withstand heat, the ball gets hot, but it also vibrates. So that would only help with one of the things. I think that the vibration is what would ultimately make you drop the ball.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to eliminate that one. Flight, you can get hit out of the air. Grace does. Fading, though, you just...
Run.
You zip. I think that fading... Because the portals even disorient you because you don't know what's going to go.
Yep.
I'm going to say C, the ability to fade.
I'm going to go A, the ability to create portals and use spells. So I think that's quite versatile of an option to use. You can use it as defense, you can use it as offense, you can use it to disorientate your enemies.
Okay. Because it doesn't, because you don't know what the spells are.
You could create false portals that they think are going to go somewhere and they don't.
Right. Okay.
What is your favorite color? A, anything rainbow and bright. Green, anything dark. Hot pink, or Armani black.
Anything dark and Armani black. Armani black is just black. So really the options are rainbow, green, dark pink, black.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's not rainbow. It's not anything rainbow. What rainbow things have you noticed in my house?
Nothing.
Yeah.
It's very dark. It's dingy. Help me. Save me. Save her.
And it's not hot pink.
I would go anything dark because that's just like a nice vibe of...
I'm going to say anything dark. Yeah, so C. Okay?
I'm going to say green.
Green?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought
So-
you were anything dark.
No, a green.
Green?
It's a very calming color to me, but it can be a different green to what everybody else imagines the green to be.
Could be like a sage. It
Mhm.
could be a dark green. Anything dark, and then it could be a dark green.
Yep. I would say pink, but hot pink is not my favorite. Pink is like a dusky pink, like a really
calm pink.
calm pink, but
Okay.
not hot pink. Hot pink. No. Where would you want your paranormal court to be? Somewhere with a lot of history, somewhere busy and fun, somewhere dreary and cold, somewhere warm and sunny, somewhere that's different than it seems.
What? Different than it seems. Okay, so like the Dragon Court, you didn't realize that they were able to dance
Mhm.
right in plain sight over the skyline, but people looking up couldn't see it.
Mine would be in Stonehenge.
No, it wouldn't.
Like, I would want somewhere that people were just guessing what it is for years.
And they
it was
were
like,
just
they're,
wrong.
They're just so wrong. And it's literally like, you walk through this door and...
Oh, you guys
You're like,
didn't notice the door on
Yeah.
the stone on this side?
Yeah, exactly. And it's 20 minutes from my house. Come on, guys. I don't need to go anywhere. I don't need to commute.
Yeah, and that's like the same with like King's Cross, like something that's like right, it's been there, everybody's passed it, but nobody's noticed.
So I think that I'm going to go E.
E? Okay. I'm going to say busy and fun.
Busy and fun?
Busy and fun, yeah. I think that would be my choice.
Number 12. Which activity would you use to wind down? Watching TV and eat ice cream? Flying? Secluding yourself from others? Paint? Or throw some axes?
Well, we know who E is.
I
I
know
would
who D is as well.
seclude myself from others. I would like to do that while flying. I go into my dark corner when I want to be like
Yeah.
relaxed. I like to be by myself.
Kind of concerned that letter C might be the blood letter.
Seclude myself from others. Who
Somewhere
is-
dreary and cold. Anything dark.
I feel like it's Jackson.
I'd paint. I'm a painter. I'm an artist anyway, aren't I? So
All right, you'd paint. I'm going to say C. Man, mine is all over the place. I don't see a consistent theme with my answers.
what is your favorite drink of choice?
Coffee.
Coffee.
That's not even
E.
blood.
No, definitely not.
All right, mine is coffee. All right, go ahead and read the answer so they know what they are.
So if you've selected mostly A's,
Oh
you-
no, on the here.
Here,
The
B.
options.
A, coffee. B, water. C, hot chocolate. D, Dr. Pepper. Or E, blood.
I know that the last one is Hudson too, and I'm like, is that
Yeah.
really Hudson's
Favorite?
favorite?
Favorite drink?
All right, which one are you? Are you coffee?
I'm definitely coffee.
Okay. All right, well, let's tally us up first. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 A's.
3 D's.
3 D, so it's not D.
And
And then
4 E's.
4 E's. I guess,
So you're A, mostly.
no, this is you.
Oh.
So you are A mostly. All right, and then mine is 3 A's, 4 A's, 5 A's. I think ours are going to be the same. 3 C's, 2 D's, 2 B's. Yeah, we're the same. All right, who's A?
So we selected mostly A's. We are Macy. Creative, loyal, and fun.
Oh,
You look nothing like Macy.
I look nothing like Macy. I'll dye my hair pink.
You love a night with Cherry Garcia, and you can't miss your morning coffee. Well, we know you can't miss your morning
No.
coffee. Macy is strong, resilient, and always there to be a shoulder to lean on, just like you.
It's both of us. We lean on each other.
So B is Flint.
Okay.
We got that from the
Yeah.
marshmallows and the flying. C's is Jackson.
Okay.
You're correct.
Dark. Yeah.
D is Grace.
Yep. That was easy. Artistic.
And E is Hudson.
Of course. Our broody Hudson.
Misunderstood, witty, and bold.
Oh. Well, that was fun.
And then there's a Crave Court that you belong to.
Yeah, we'll skip that one.
As a quiz as well.
We'll save that one.
And then it's followed by the bonus chapters, which I really liked them.
Yeah, we got quite a few bonus chapters. It was a full novella of now the one
From
thing,
several perspectives as well.
Yeah, and the one thing I will say is that it doesn't feel completely canon. I think that Amber and I both read it and we're like, so basically in it, Jackson and Hudson have an epic showdown, which reading it, yes.
They should.
Yes. I loved the epic showdown. I love it. I love the tension among those two, But if it was canon, because that fight was way, way more epic than the fight in the tower where Jackson and Hudson fight in covet. And Jackson does his, I'm all fucked up, Grace. My soul has been broken. Eaten. This fight is actually way more dramatic, I feel, and there's a lot more action.
And it happens before that.
Yeah. So this would have been the first time that they fought, and it's never mentioned again. So
And there's also moments with Grace and Hudson together where they decide together that neither of them should talk or find out about what happened when they were together in the gargoyle form.
Yeah.
And I think that was kind of important, was that they both agreed to not tell each other.
Yeah, Grace was like, don't tell me.
Yeah.
Well, first she's like, yeah, tell me. Well, no, actually, don't
tell me because it doesn't change how I feel. I love Jackson. And you telling me what happened in our 3 months together won't change the fact that I still love Jackson, which was a very adult concept for her to have.
Yeah.
Was that she was like, you can tell me everything, but that's not going to change how I feel about you, and it's not going to change how I feel about Jackson. But then it happened organically again.
Yeah.
Anyway, because it was meant to be.
That's how it should be. We made some notes about Flint and Luca, because Luca, in this book, we get some little group chats of Luca talking to the Order about how he asked, someone out, and they turned him down, and then
ran away.
And the group chat is all like, oh, we're gonna whoop some dragon ass. And he's like, no,
don't do it.
Don't do that. And then we're like, oh, is that Flint? Is that who he's talking about? But then we get a group chat between Flint and Eden.
Yeah.
Where Flint's like, oh no, this cute guy asked me out and I ran away.
Yeah, I was a chicken and I ran away. What do I do about it?
So,
and she's like, well, the fact that you ran away and didn't say no means something.
Yeah. And that's really where Flint has to get over Jackson and just go for it.
Mm-hmm.
So. And
they do, and it's really cute.
And I really hope that we get, now that Luca is gone, R.I.P., I'm hoping that Flint and Jackson will get their time together, because we did get a lot of emotion from Flint in the guide where he's like, oh, it's hard when you've been in love with somebody. Yeah. And you can never have them.
And we also got some moments where Hudson was clearly trying to win Grace back by delivering flowers and cinnamon rolls to her room, but then not saying who they were from. And she knew who they were from without a note.
Yeah.
If you had something left outside your dorm room,
I would assume it was my boyfriend.
Yeah.
Not Hudson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless she'd already spoken to Jackson, thank you for my cinnamon rolls. And he was like, what? It must have been Macy. And then you go and thank the real guy that did actually send you them. But I feel like he was stirring the pot, and he really shouldn't have.
Yeah, that's an immature thing to do, but
he did it because she loved the things. He didn't do it to make her want him or to get under Jackson's skin. He saw the flowers, and he was like, she'll like these, and yeah. But now we know that Hudson brings you cinnamon rolls.
Ooh, is that another imagery that we get for Hudson's cinnamon rolls? Because he already did grilled cheese
and cinnamon rolls. I'd be a very happy girl.
Hudson made that grilled cheese. That is why the grilled cheese is important. Yep. Jackson, and there were more scenes in the guide to Katmere Academy where Jackson talks about not making the food. He gets the kitchen witches to do it. Mm-hmm. Hudson made the grilled cheese.
We also get quite a lot of interaction between Hudson and Macy when they are both going through that moment of kind of grief where nothing is correct for them. They've had their life and then they've had they're happy, but then they've gone to sadness because Xavier had passed away. Well, he got killed, like, quite brutally.
And there was a cute scene in there with Macy and Xavier together, like, so that we know that they had bonded a lot.
Yep. And they're really cute first date.
Yeah.
And Macy was really good, spontaneous first date creator.
Yeah, took him to the, like,
planetarium.
Yeah, looking at all the little stars.
Aww. It made me sad.
It did make me sad.
But at least we got some content with him again.
Yeah. Macy and Hudson sat at the chess table, the first chess table where Jackson and Grace had their very first encounter. And they're playing chess, and Macy just doesn't know how to play chess. She's just moving the pieces all over the board, and Hudson isn't saying anything.
She's disobeying all the rules.
And then she thinks that she won.
Yeah, and he's just like, I don't have the heart to tell her that she completely cheated. That would be how I played.
Yeah.
With full confidence that I knew exactly what I was doing.
You would just play wrong?
Yeah.
I would not say anything either, especially if someone's upset. Yeah.
I think two people who don't know how to play chess should play each other and see how...
Just moving the pieces.
See, yeah, just moving the pieces and deciding that that's how you play.
Play it like checkers.
Yeah. Are you trying to work out what the last one means?
Well, no, I'm looking at snowboarding vamps because...
Oh, they promised to take Jackson when their Grace is a gargoyle.
And Jackson is, because
Jackson's sad and miserable in his room.
Yeah, he's holed up in his room, and all the vampires in the order are like, we got to get Jackson out of his room. What are we going to do? You go get him. No, you go get him. And then they're like, let's take him snowboarding. He'll like that.
We finally get our snowboarding vampires.
Yeah, because they're in the art room. When you go through the tunnels, you can get to the art room cottage, but the door has a painting of wolves and dragons and a snowboarding vampire.
Yep.
And we've been like, why? But apparently the vampires
we finally get a snowboarding vampire.
They like to snowboard. We got a little bit of a game that they play that we've never heard of before. Portal search party.
Which sounds cool. Yeah,
they just go around the woods searching for portals.
Go through the portals, and then they have to mark where the portals are.
And close them?
I don't remember that bit. But yeah, they just fell through.
Yeah, Grace and Hudson fell through one, and Grace was like, grab the portal, and then it just disappeared. And then they were both stuck.
Because she would end up going through the one portal that was not supposed to be there.
Yeah, that was one that was like placed there.
Grace being a klutz.
Yeah. And then her and Hudson get to have like a one-on-one because they end up in Healy, which is the town that's right by Katmere Academy, and they have to walk all the way, at least to the woods where they can fly.
Yeah. And then they have a race.
And then they race.
And they race. And then the race is very similar to the one that they have on the way to the Giants.
Yeah.
Which, actually, that scene on the way to the Giants made me grin. You know what, like, those scenes just make you feel so happy. And
they start bonding. And then he gets her the flowers, too, when they're running through the woods.
Yeah. But I feel like that's not canon if they've already
had a race.
Yeah.
Do you wish that we wouldn't have had the bonus chapters?
I don't know, they're nice, and they also feel like they're filling the gap between now and when Court gets released.
You take it with a grain of salt type
thing.
Yeah.
They're like deleted scenes, so you never know whether they were deleted because she had a better idea or whether she went back and went, oh, I wish that I had added this. They were said as deleted scenes, but we couldn't believe that they would be deleted scenes because they were from so many different people's perspectives.
She didn't delete a random scene from Macy's perspective in the middle of the story because she wouldn't have wrote a chapter from Macy's perspective in Crave.
Yeah, so they were like deleted scenes, like almost like a blooper reel kind of thing where like things happen, but
looking back, what she wished she would have written.
Yeah,
what she could have.
Yeah.
And the last one, I can't remember what it is.
No, nor can I.
Well, it's a word. It's one hell of a note that we took. Why can't we remember why we wrote bloodwank on the paper?
I don't know. I think that we were talking about the scene because I don't know. I can't
We
remember.
wrote blood wank
on
the paper, and we can't remember why.
And we were asking your husband,
would you have a blood wank? And he was like, what?
I think that we were just in hysterics on the floor, and genuinely I don't remember why. What was the last thing in the guide that was written?
It would be in the novella, because we've got Portal Search Party. I can't remember. It would have to be at the very end of the novella.
Go to table of contents.
She's going to check her Kindle. In the meantime, guys, last section of the podcast, we normally do fan questions, but we decided not to do those this week because we didn't read our normal chapters, but we will resume next week with normal episodes. If we're able to figure out what this means in the next 2 minutes, then I mean, I'm curious. I would like to know, or maybe I don't. I'm trying to think. Hudson.
I don't know.
Hudson goes. He goes. No, wait. He goes and gets blood. He's thinking about Grace. He's thinking about drinking Grace. That's it. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So
he was having a really good dream.
He was having a good dream about drinking Grace. He was describing it like a wet dream about drinking Grace. And then he wakes up and he needs to go drink blood because he's been thinking about it.
Yep.
And that's
and then he's like, oh, Grace won't let me just go. Can I have some? So he had to go and get some secondary blood from somewhere. I was like, is that the ascent? Is that a blood wank? Is that I can't have sex with the person I want to, so
I'll just have to do it to myself and think about it. Yeah, because he's fantasizing. Okay, that makes a lot more sense.
We seemed to just write down single words as part of our notes, and then we look back on them a day later and we're like, what? And at the time we clearly think it's hilarious.
I mean, the handwriting is just awful, so I clearly wrote it down in a hurry. Yeah, we were laughing so hard. But I highly recommend you guys get the Guide to Katmere. We rushed through reading it. I'll probably reread it.
Oh, yeah.
I would like to go through it and
I would love it in printed form. I would love it with pullouts and maps and little envelopes and magnifying glasses and things.
I think that this was for, Tracy wanted to give us something because there was a paper shortage. For those who don't know,
we're hungry for more, and she knew that we were starving.
Yeah, she
sent us a snack.
She sent us a little snack to hold us over until it came out. But once again, with paper printing and that being the problem, a printed version of this wasn't possible because that's the whole reason that we weren't able to get court when it was originally supposed to release, which would have been November. It's been pushed back to February for the paper shortage. So
I think we just have to think the Harry Potters were all written one after each other, and only the guides and the extracurricular books and the Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them and things, they were only written after the series was completed.
Yeah.
We're already getting this now.
Mm-hmm.
She's already mentioned within her book that she has some sort of Bible for all of the characters and stuff, which is only going to get bigger as she's writing the other books. So I think that we could look forward to a lot more merch, kind of like Harry Potter, where you can go into a store and you can get the monster books that they study and things like that. She's created an entire universe for us. And I'm quite excited to see what else.
And she's doing it so fast.
Yeah, when she said that she'd written the entirety of Crave in 2 months, we were just like, what?
It took me a year to write my book that is coming out in January. And I wrote that. I started writing that in August of 2020. I finished it in August of 2021, and it's still not out. It's not even coming out until January because publishing and editing takes a lot of time.
But you do have a full-time job. 2 full-time jobs, essentially.
Yeah.
So we can understand how you might write it in 2 months if it is your full-time job, but it's still, that's very, very, very fast.
Yeah.
So kudos to Tracy. Well done for writing it so fast that
don't stop.
We can get snacks.
Keep going. Keep writing them. Right. Please, more.
Give us more.
I'm ready for Remy's story. We got a cute little picture of Remy.
Yeah, and I
Well-
would. I really would.
You really would?
Would you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Would you?
I didn't in the book.
No?
No. I
See,
think
now-
because a Cajun accent is so different from what I could even imagine. Like, I don't have any point of reference
You
for a
picture him
Cajun
looking
accent.
like... Did you picture him looking like a little cowboy? Or
It's like a little swamp man.
a little swamp man? And, oh, I did have one last note. Apparently, I was very wrong. I have thought Eden was black this whole time. And I was looking through the pictures, and I was just like, oh, she's not black.
She's Asian.
I don't know, and that we are saying Asian for lack of knowing.
With like, we couldn't pick.
Yeah, we have no idea based on the.
Well,
photo
her
that
last
was-
name is Seong or Song.
Song.
But yeah, we found out like Leah obviously has family out in Tokyo,
That's what. Yeah,
so she's Japanese.
yeah.
But
So
Eden, we don't really get much about her family, so we wouldn't know.
But I, for some reason, had it in my head that Eden was kind of like a gothy kind of like.
No, she's apparently the rehash of the poor Cho Chang, where like or like Asians don't have to be the snitches or
yeah,
the bitches.
because that's how they're always portrayed.
Like Leah came and
Leah.
went, and now she's in the bin, and we now have Eden to replace her to be much better.
I don't think I'm ever not going to be able to see Eden how I originally pictured her, because I really like the character that I built in my head, and
She's your Black Hermione.
I'm going to keep her exactly how she is. I'm not budging, and I even had like a dream cast. I had like the actress picked out and everything. I can't remember her name, but she has like insanely piercing, like green, pretty eyes. And I'm like, you are perfect. You are my Eden.
You're my Eden.
You are my Eden.
slightly badly casted.
Yeah,
because I've entirely blocked out an entire race.
I haven't blocked out. I've just clung onto my imagery that I formed in my own head. Maybe Tracy didn't describe her, or maybe that's just how my brain goes, where I just kind of fill in the blanks.
You
And
probably picked out certain words.
it's I think that the ability to read like that and do that is better than just reading as being a white person and reading and just assuming every character is white.
Yep.
I think that it's better when you are able to just like assume or, paint a character in any color that you want them to be.
It's also good that you can imagine them very fast. You don't have to sit there, read every single word, and like almost add the freckles onto their face as the writer has written them in the page. Add the glasses onto their face, scruff their hair a little bit, and go, oh no, their hair needs to be lightened. You've already created a picture in your head before you've read any of the description, and sometimes that description can't be changed.
Yeah.
Even if there are like characteristics that are mentioned on later on in the book, sometimes they're not embellishments to a character if you've already created the character in your head.
Yeah. I get attached to my visions, and that's why I think that I get very upset when movies get made, because I'm like, this is all wrong.
This is wrong.
This is wrong. I was really unhappy with the Jackson art that we got.
Jackson art.
Because he looks like he's 32. It doesn't look right to me looking at the artwork that they gave us. Same with Hudson, though. I was like, oh, this isn't how I pictured Hudson. Hudson was closer than Jackson was, though. Jackson looks way too old. These are not teenagers in these pictures. Macy was okay.
Right, so last thing.
Last thing. Amber's going to try a cherry Pop-Tart. We have them here. Let's do the ASMR.
I wonder how awful that sounds.
I will know when we edit
it. Is this an ASMR mic?
Let's see. Is this... I think that this one is.
Yeah.
We have 2 mics. All right. I will eat one and you can eat one. I already know what it tastes like, but
Does it taste like cherry?
It tastes like something that's cherry flavored.
Okay.
Like there's cherry flavored medicine, and does that taste like cherry? No, it tastes like something that's
cough
cherry.
drops.
So first, let's describe it to them.
I have something that is violently pink in my hands.
Just the
There's
icing.
There is icing on the... We actually watched how Pop-Tarts are made.
We did.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's lots of pink sugar on it. Okay.
All right,
And these are cold. Just to let everybody know. Got to give them the sensory
They're not cold.
process.
They're room temp. We didn't toaster them. You did not get a bite with any of the creamy goo. Okay, you got a little
Oh my god, the creamy goo.
Do you feel like Grace?
These don't taste like cherry.
What do they taste like? Something cherry flavored. She went in for a second bite. This is like how sports narrating is. And here's the pitch.
If you gave this to me and said it was strawberry flavored, I wouldn't be able to tell you that you were wrong.
It's just a berry.
Yeah.
This
is not a cherry, guys. In Britain we have cherry bakewells, which are the best cakes in my opinion. And I was imagining, the jam in between all the Brits that are like, yeah, cherry bakewells. I was imagining the jam in between.
Mm-hmm.
This just tastes like strawberry jam.
Yeah, and they're very thin.
Do you know what? This would be amazing with like flaked almonds on top. Cherry bakewell.
Okay.
They need to lean into the bakewell for this to taste anything like cherry, because at this point it just tastes like strawberry.
There's cherry toaster strudels too, and those are thicker.
Mm-hmm.
That would be more cherry-y than this.
They're like the maraschino cherries.
Mm-hmm.
I was expecting it to taste like those.
It's more tart.
It just tastes like strawberry.
Yeah, it just tastes like fruit. If I didn't know what color it was and you said this is blueberry, I'd be like, all right, this is blackberry. Sure, this is raspberry. I believe you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a berry.
Mm-hmm.
That is violently pink.
It's very pink. We should have taken pictures.
We have another packet upstairs.
We do. All right, guys. Well, let me clear my mouth now.
Get crumbs all over your husband's desk.
Yep. All right, guys. Thanks so much for listening. This was a lot of fun, but next week we will resume our normal episodes once Amber's back home and
this airs when I am flying.
When you're flying back home?
Yeah.
You'll be on a plane.
Crying.
If you're listening to this right now, Amber is on a plane. Well, I guess everyone's listening to it right now.
Yep. Right now.
If you waited until 9 a.m. on the dot, Phoenix does that, I think. I think Phoenix listens to them right when they air.
Mm-hmm.
But if you listen to this right when it airs, Amber is on a plane flying back to boring UK.
Rainy Hampshire.
Where everybody talks like Hudson. Apparently not.
We need to get my husband down. We'll add a little excerpt on the end of this of him reading out one of the Hudson lines from the bonus chapters.
Will he do it?
Yeah, he will absolutely do it.
If you went and got him right now.
Yeah, right now.
You're walking around like a bloody wanker and put up with it because I get it. You're hurting and you're pissed. But you're not the only one in pain, asshole. So get the fuck over yourself so we can end this.
All right, and there was Scott as Hudson. Let us know if you want more Scott as Hudson, and we'll just have him read random lines like every few episodes.
He does voiceovers, so he can do like received pronunciation, so super British, or he can do London. That was his normal voice.
Yeah.
That's what I hear when I haven't done the dishes.
You guys should send us lines that you want him to read.
Yeah, cause that was a sudden trying to find
a
Hudson line that was particularly British, and it said bloody wanker in it, so...
Yeah, we just pick random lines for Scott, and then we can get the authentic Brit to read the Hudson lines. But, guys, thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Bye-bye!